Welcome back to Mohawk Motors, everybody. My name is Jason. Today I'm doing a little upgrade on my blue single cab short bed. 2007 classic single cab short bed. Upgrading the radio in this thing. It's time for some improvement. All right, so you can probably tell I've already got a bunch of stuff taken apart in here. And I've got a bit of a mess going over here. And what I'm trying to do here is really just show you the stuff that doesn't come with instructions, right? Radio comes with instructions. Adapter kit comes with instructions. And as I've said before, I'm pretty sure you can read and follow instructions. So you don't need me to tell you how to do that, especially on something as specific as this, which is going to be different depending on which radio you buy and which adapter kit you buy. But what is helpful, I think, is showing you how to do some of the things that aren't in the instructions. For example, I'm using a plug adapter instead of just splicing into the factory harness. I like doing this for two reasons. One, if I ever want to take this radio out and put a factory radio back in it, plug and play. I don't have a bunch of spliced wires to deal with. Two, I feel like it's much neater and tidier, and I can do it here on my workbench where I'm comfortable and I can make good connections. So as you can see here, I've gone through, I've soldered and heat shrunk all of my connections, and any of the wires that I am not using, I put heat shrink over as well, just to make sure they don't accidentally short out or touch anything that they shouldn't. I left this open, but I am going to go through and just give it a little coating of tape just to keep it neat and organized, and that'll be ready to go get put into the truck. Now, being I'm using an aftermarket radio, it can't talk through the CAN system to the body control module and other things. So I have to source two things for it from somewhere else. The first is a switched ignition positive, which I have here my red wire, and I'll show you where we're going to get that hooked up. The second is a dimmer reference. Basically, this wire tells the radio at 0 volts, the dimmer is all the way down, be very dark backlighting. At 12 volts, the dimmer is all the way up, and give me bright backlighting. So that's what this wire is for. I'll show you where we're going to pick that up from. Otherwise, this plugs into the factory connector. These plug into the aftermarket radio. Okay, so next part in the truck. So got it taped up, got my little adapter plug, and it just plugs into the factory harness. I can tuck that back in here out of the way. These are the plugs for my radio. I've got my ignition positive and my dimmer wire run up. I'll tuck them up here along the little support out of the way of the dash. Come across up here behind the vent and the switch panel, and then over to the fuse panel. So the ignition switched ignition the ignition on power, I'm just going to use the ignition 0 fuse. It comes with this little fuse tap. I'll put it right on the load side of the fuse, in this case the right side of the fuse. Put that back in, that'll have that all taken care of. That's super easy. Now, as far as finding a dimmer source for this truck, most of this stuff is all digitally controlled through the BCM. But in the back of the headlight switch, my top brown wire with white tracer here. Now, as I move the dimmer roller, as I move this dimmer up and down, all the way down to 0 volts, and then it progressively raises up to 12 volts as I roll it up. And that's the data, that's the voltage reference that my radio, the one I'm using, is looking for. So to try to do this as tidy as I can, I stripped a little bit of insulation off of that brown wire with a white tracer. I wrapped my wire around it. I've soldered it, and then I'll wrap this with a little bit of electrical tape, and then I'll wrap the factory electrical tape back around that little harness there. Now, to try to keep with my plug and play capability here, or remove, unplug capability, not have wires dangling around, I've just used a female and male connector here. So again, if I ever want to remove the radio, I don't need it anymore. I just unplug that connector, and I can leave this end of it back here in case I need it for someone else. Or maybe if I sell this truck someday, maybe somebody else would need that. But it'll be clean, it'll be tidy. I won't have to have any worries about electrical fires or shorts or anything like that. Okay. Got that taped up. I wound up, I just went and got one of my double-sided, my double fuse taps. One of these little guys. I like these way better. Got that in there. Wired it with a little male-female connector, flat blade connector. So that's in place. And we should be able to plug it in and see what we get now. This is the radio. It's a brand I've never heard of. I just got it on Amazon. I just want to plug it in and see if it works. Plug in the antenna. The adapter kit. I found one that was for a double DIN radio in these year's trucks. Got that, nothing special there. We just followed the instructions. So, what do we get? Oh, all right, we're powered up. That's good. We've got some noise, static. I don't get very good radio signal in here. Well, nope, went through all of them. But we have volume. That's good. All right. This thing just seems to auto scan, but that's good. Now it should also power off when I turn the key off. There we go. Okay. I'm going to call that a success for now. We'll finish getting everything buttoned up and put back together. All right, so my adapter is all put together. I used a Scosche adapter kit. Which it seems to fit pretty good. Bracketry all lines up to use the 3 factory mounting screws. I did get my little wires tucked up in here so they won't be in the way when I go to put the dash bezel back on. Okay. Let's put the bezel back on, see how that looks. looks a little crooked. It's the tiniest bit crooked. I don't think it's enough that it's going to bother me though. Who am I kidding? It is going to bother me. You know it's going to bother me. So alright, so I'm going to take this thing off and make a tiny little adjustment to bring this side. I'm going to try to bring this side up a teeny bit. I wonder if I can just loosen these screws and get it up enough. Oh, that actually might have been it. I think that might have been enough just in that. Yeah, there we go. That got it. Nice and even. Perfect. Turn the key off. Radio turns off. All right. Now I just need to get the instructions and get this thing all programmed up. So I'll do that, and then I'll bring you guys back. All right, guys. Well, it's actually 2 days later now. I was going through setup on this thing, and there's some customizable options that you can do with this. But in order to do that, you need a USB flash drive. And I did not have one. So I had to pick up a cheap USB flash drive in order to do the updates I wanted to do on this thing. And I've pretty much got it all set up how I want it now. So what I really wanted to do is you can set it to have your own custom boot up screen there. And we've got radio. This is touch screen, like I said. It'll read through a USB. We have Bluetooth, Bluetooth music, our setup menu, all of our little functions and things. One thing that I'm pretty cool about this, I'm not getting it set up yet, but I will, is this thing has the option to do a front camera and a rear camera. So it comes with a little camera, which I think I'm going to use this as a front camera or maybe an underneath camera. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to use it for something, but I don't like it as a backup camera. You know, I like my stuff to be pretty clean looking. So I ordered another backup camera that is mounted in the tailgate handle trim, and I'll get that mounted up another day. I did another video on installing one of those, so I'll put a link up here for you somewhere if you're interested in that. But for now, this thing's good to go. It has good sound quality, it picks up radio really well, and it does Bluetooth really well. So I'm pretty excited about it. This thing also has Android Auto, so I can use it for, you know, to run my phone, see messages, navigation, all of that jazz too, which is nice. So I'm pretty happy with it. I'm gonna get some more time on it, and maybe I'll update you later on if I discover any other cool features or anything like that. But for now, that's it. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody, and until the next video, take care.